Alright everyone, what's up? Let's do a quick hair check before we get going. Yeah, it's bad. My confidence is at rock bottom. The only thing that's been getting me through is I've been watching weird stuff on the internet. Not like weird stuff like 50 Shades of Grey type, but like there's still guys that do gold digger pranks on YouTube. Or like couple YouTube accounts that just are posting softcore porn for teens to watch. I've just noticed everyone lives crazy lifestyles, and on the internet it can make it look like any lifestyle works. Like you got people like Matt Stoney, who's got the metabolism of a Greek god, but also the stomach of an elephant, and eats like 8,000 calories in a single sitting, and people are like, oh yeah, that's normal. But then you got Nikado Avocado, who also has the metabolism of a Greek god, just his Greek god is Celianos, the guy who's always laying down and being fed grapes, and he's fat. The craziest lifestyle that I've come across is easily the Liver King. His name's Brian Johnson, and he spent the last 20 years of his life dedicated to preaching, teaching, and modeling the ancestral message. It's basically a series of like 9 tenets that tells you how to live your life in the most primal way. It's been passed down since the dinosaurs. And when you look at the guy, you can tell that one of the main tenets is take as much TRT and tren as possible. You can see the juice popping out of his muscles when he walks. I decided to download the Liver King's ebook, give it a read, and try to be the Liver King for a single day. So the first thing I did was wake up at 5 a.m. because I thought that was something the Liver King did. Turns out the first ancestral tenet is actually sleep, which pretty much means that you want to go to bed when the sun goes down and rise when the sun comes up. And 5 a.m. was actually 2 hours before the sun comes up. Hey everyone. It's 5 a.m. right now. 5 a.m. So early. The first thing I'm going to do is actually not get up for another 2 hours and 15 minutes because that's when the sunrise comes. And I just read in the Liver King's book, Rise with the Sunrise. Basically, all I did from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. because I couldn't go back to sleep because once I'm up, I'm up. I'm one of those people. It's crazy. I just stared at my ceiling because ancestral tenet number 4 is shield. You have to use your phone and electronics as little as possible because of the Wi-Fi signals, and apparently it's all rotting your brain. I'm pretty sure the Liver King's just a conspiracy theorist. But then finally the sunrise hit and I got up and I went on a walk because one of the big things of the Liver King is to get a 30 to 60 minute walk once or twice a day and make sure that you get early morning sun exposure. When I went outside, I kind of realized I live in Ontario, so sun exposure is going to be hard. It is now 7:15 in the morning, which is the time it was supposed to be the sunrise, but as you can see, it's just super gloomy. That's just how Ontario works. Super gloomy, super sad all the time. It's 3 degrees right now. And it's gonna snow later. So I finish my walk, and then I get home, and now I can focus on ancestral tenet number 2, eat. And basically the Liver King gives you on his website a meal plan to eat like the Liver King. The Liver King actually fasts on Wednesdays and Sundays, but it was Saturday, so I actually had to eat. So the first meal I had includes 6 farm fresh eggs. I just went with brown eggs because it's pretty much the same thing. It's all placebo. A 30-gram protein shake. I just used whatever protein I had lying around. I think he's got his own, but you know, whatever. A scoop of Greek yogurt. He makes it homemade. I don't even know how to make yogurt. He puts like he puts collagen and all this random stuff in it, and also shoots himself with TRT. So, I mean, you got to take it as you will with that guy. 2 ounces of raw liver and 1 ounce of bone marrow. And I don't understand how much an ounce is, so I think I gave myself way too much. But looking at raw liver, it's like a rubbery texture. It's pretty gross. And then also just 500 milliliters or half a pint of milk. That can't be good for your stomach. You're telling me you don't have stomach aches? Anyway, this is me trying the raw liver and eggs. It's super gross. Mind over matter, right? It's not as bad as I thought. Oh, it hit me. It hits you at the end. Okay, the eggs. Dude, it's so slimy. It's so slimy. Why do people eat like this? Is this gonna help me feel like a man? Once I finished eating my first meal, I pretty much had to just lay in bed for 3 hours because I couldn't move. My stomach was curling. Every time I tried to move, I would almost puke. The smell from the liver just made me want to puke even more. I had to brush my teeth like 3 times in that 3 hours. And then all I could do is lie there. I don't know what he's doing because that didn't seem healthy. I had 3 hours of the day where I just lied in bed. But then I went to jujitsu so I could practice ancestral tenet 3 and 8. Move and fight. I didn't record any of me doing jujitsu because I'm a nervous wreck and doing stuff in public in front of people is embarrassing to me. So I get scared. Just know I got a good workout in. I got pretty sweaty. Then I came home and I had to shower. Ancestral tenet number 6. Get fucking cold. You see, the Liver King, he does hot-cold contrast. Like 30 seconds hot, 30 second freezing cold. He doesn't cite any science when he's talking about why he does it. He just says it's a good thing to do. So I hopped in the cold shower. I haven't done a cold shower or anything since I was wrestling, and it honestly is the worst thing in my life. I hate the cold. I hate everything about the cold. I hate the winters. Oh, it's so cold. But then I just laid down because I was hurting from this meal still. I still was almost puking from the meal. But I laid down for like an hour and I had to go have meal number 2. Meal number 2 is the exact same as meal number 1. It doesn't change at all, so it's still pretty gross. But I did tone it down a bit because I thought if I ate another one of those meals, I could potentially be immobilized for a week. So I dropped it down to like 2 eggs. I gave myself a lot less liver. I gave myself way more Greek yogurt. You got to figure out how it works for you. You know what I mean? Raw liver. Oh, it's such a bad after flavor. Such a bad aftertaste, man. How do people take raw eggs? Finally, I finished meal 2, and so I was almost done for the day. Pretty much all I had to do left was eat my dinner. But before dinner, the Liver King has you simulate a hunt. And for that, I had to follow ancestral tenet number 5, connect. And see, the Liver King says it's good to go outside barefoot and actually hug a tree. That's a direct quote from the ebook. In Ontario, it was snowing that day, and it was like -5, but I took my shoes off, I took my shirt off, and I went and stood outside and hugged a tree for 10 minutes. And as I hugged the tree, I felt myself becoming more primal, more connected with Earth. It might have just been the hypothermia, but I could feel myself turning into a dinosaur. I did some sprints so that I could simulate my hunt, and finally I got onto the last meal. The last meal is not that bad. It's a piece of cooked red meat, except on Thursdays you eat it raw. So I just had a steak, unseasoned, overcooked, the same way my mom would make it. A whole avocado with oil and salt on it, and then a little bit of something raw, like bull testicles that set in it. I just used some leftover liver. It wasn't good, but it was better than the first meals. And then that was pretty much it for the day. The Liver King does something, he sleeps on the ground, but I wasn't going to try that because I got a bad back. But I think what I learned from that day is that his diet is terrible. I don't know if it's just the trend affecting his taste buds, but it doesn't taste good. I didn't feel any sort of boost from eating something raw. I didn't feel like more of a man. And I don't know what the effects would be if I were to do a week. But altogether, my day as Liver King was actually the least productive day I've had. Because I had to lie in bed for half of it, because if I moved, I would have been puking the whole day. That's it. I became the Liver King for a day. Yeah. Like and subscribe. Comment. Peace out.